What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. This video is going to be looking at what we can expect from this new Chelsea team under Graham Potter. So before we get into it, check out both my books. They're online on Amazon. There's links in the description below. And let's get right into the lineup. So on paper, we might see a 3-4-3 with 3 central defenders. And these are just the lineups from their last match that Thomas Tuchel was in charge of, but I'm just using the same personnel, and we'll look at the different concepts we'll use. So we'll have a back 3 followed by 4 players in front of them with a double pivot and a front 3. Now this is going to be a very versatile system, and we're going to look at how they can then first defend. So Brighton under Graham Potter often played a very fluid setup and had very fluid tactics. So what I mean by this is they can start in one shape but then change their shape to better win the ball back or carry out their principles. So as we press in a 3-4-3, Kai Havertz can then jump, joining Aubameyang as the 2 strikers, and now we can start to see a 5-3-2. And when Havertz continues his press, we'll then see an outright 5-3-2, blocking access to the holding midfielder and having a well-connected midfield 3, which will then shift into the wide area and create an overload around the ball to have good numbers to then win the ball, have good cover from the central defender in behind, and with this cover, they'll have many players around the ball in dangerous areas to then win the ball and go forward. So this is one of the things we'll look for in Graham Potter's team, a back 5 or back 3 with the wingbacks being more proactive, especially in the offensive phase. As we see here, they'll go with a single holding midfielder and 2 players between the lines. Now the biggest difference, I think the central defenders will play much more narrow but be much more proactive and try and progress the ball via dribbling and eliminate midfielders by doing so. So when the central defenders progress the ball around the first line of pressure, we'll have an overload between the lines, single holding midfielder creating good diagonal passing options between the lines. The center striker Aubameyang will probably pin defenders or make diagonal runs in behind to then try and pin and push back the defensive line, creating space for the players between the lines. The wingbacks will hold with and be sort of a fail-safe to always have options to progress around the opposing team's block. Now, especially Brighton under Graham Potter did very well at creating lose-lose situations, whether it be through the center or always have the option of width to then continue progression and have their team arrive in the final third. So as we look forward, we'll see when they progress around, we'll have multiple players running in behind, Aubameyang coming across, Kai Havertz taking the center role, and with these runs in behind, they'll push back the back 4 and create space between the lines. Now, not only this, but one thing that we should be really excited for with this Graham Potter appointment is their rest defense and their 3-1 diamond shape with their rest defense in their first and second line of build-up. With their central defenders playing a little bit higher through the half spaces, we can see them put closer access to the players out of possession, and the defenders, the holding midfielder, will have more responsibility to jump and block passing options, and will always have the cover in behind if the opposing team goes direct and plays long. So these are just a few concepts we can look forward to when Graham Potter gets his first match in the Champions League as the Chelsea manager.